What is going on, y'all? Gamers Goon here today with another video. We went 3 for 2 in week 0. We unfortunately did get that Kansas State game wrong. Started off the day on a little bit of a sour note, to be honest with you. And then we wrapped it up in interesting fashion, to say the least, with Hawaii winning because former NFL coach Frank Reich, I guess, forgot how to coach. I don't really know what was happening there. He had 3 timeouts and he let them run the clock down to 3 seconds to kick a field goal. Not really sure what was happening there. But we are in for week 1. I'm excited for it, and we're starting it off on Thursday. And the first game on Thursday is Boise State going up against USF. Now, I think this is going to be a really good game. Boise State right now is 6.5-point favorites. By the way, we're only going to be featuring 5 games on these slideshows. The 5 games of the week for me. I try to pick one on every single day, but there's a lot of days in the opening week, so we kind of just picked and choose some really good games. This is the one for Thursday that I want to key in on, though. Boise State returns Maddox Madsen, and Byram Brown of USF will be the guy leading the charge for them. Both got, well, actually, Byram Brown is the guy that I think everybody can agree has the most hype around him. He is, in all honesty, one of the better returning QBs that is at his level, right? Maddox Madsen, you didn't see too much out of him last year. Obviously this team leaned a lot on Ashton Genty, but you do gotta realize, I think they got some really good running backs still around. Malik Sherrod, Sayer Gaines there still. You look at their receivers, their tight end Matt Lauder has returned. I think they still have a couple of their defensive players from last year as well. Jaden Virgin Morgan still there. USF is going to be a good team. They could actually maybe even be one of those sneaky teams this year. But for me, it's kind of simple. I've just got to rock with, at the end of the day, I got to go with Maddox Madsen and Boise State. I think Boise State is the better team. I get that possibly Byram Brown and company could come out and, I guess, pull off a win that I don't know if it's necessarily an upset, but it's a win that could very well be a big win for USF. Because I look at them this year, I think they're kind of borderline, one of those potential dark horse teams. So we'll see if they can get the job done. But let's get into the rest of the Thursday slate. This is the game that we talked about in depth. I'm going 28-21, 6.5-point spread. But that's kind of going to be the gist of how we go about all these weeks. We're going to pick 5 games, and we're gonna focus on 5. But we'll give you every prediction. So let's get into the Thursday quick picks, and these are going to be rapid fire. Ohio at Rutgers. We like Rutgers to win that one 21-14. Lafayette at Bowling Green. We are going Bowling Green 24-7. Jacksonville State at UCF. We're taking UCF 35-14. Wyoming at Akron. We are pulling for Wyoming 21-14. Eastern Carolina at NC State. I'm going with NC State to win 28-17. St. Francis, PA. I'm going to be honest, I didn't even know they had a school, or a football team. I knew they had a school. I didn't know if they had a football team. Versus Louisiana, or at Louisiana Monroe, my bad. 7-28. I felt generous. A lot of these teams could probably score 3 or 0 points, but I was feeling generous. I was feeling in a giving mood, so why not just throw some of these teams that are probably going to not score very much, a little bit of a bone. So, after that one, we get Elon at Duke. This is going to be bad. I'm going Duke 42-7. Tennessee Martin at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has a very good opening to the season, 35-10. Central Arkansas going up against Missouri. I am taking Missouri 49-7. Stephen F. Austin going up against Houston. We're going with Houston 38-14. Buffalo and Minnesota. This is one of the games I wanted to kind of talk about, but it wasn't one of the five. I couldn't make it one of the five. I couldn't justify it. But Buffalo and Minnesota, I got Minnesota barely winning that one at 28-23. Miami, Ohio going up against Wisconsin. I got Wisconsin 35-3 in that one. Nebraska going up against Cincinnati. That one's 24-20 in the favor of Nebraska. And then Stony Brook against SDSU. I am rocking with SDSU to win 42-10. So now we're going to get on over to the Friday game of the day, I guess you can say. And that is Auburn going up against Baylor. Both of these teams are kind of in a similar spot, to be honest, that they're both got some high hopes going into this year, a little bit of buzz around them. I don't fully really get the buzz around either, to be honest, but it's going to be an interesting game to watch. The spread right now is favoring Auburn 2.5 points. I am going to take Auburn to win that at 35-32, and that's because I think Jackson Arnold is going to perform at a high level. I look at Sawyer Robinson, the QB there for Baylor. I think Jackson Arnold is gonna have him beat. There's been some buzz even from Auburn about potentially using 2 or maybe even 3 QBs in this game, which kind of feels weird to have that kind of buzz going into a game against Baylor. I mean, you're not playing some small FCS team, right? You're playing Baylor, who has kind of got some hype this year. So I would kind of advise against not playing 3 QBs, but I am going to lean towards Auburn. I think they have just the pure talent advantage. I think it will be a close game, but I'm going to lean in the favor of Auburn. Now, we get into Friday's quick picks, and Friday's quick picks, I get to talk a little bit about my Illini as well. But we'll start it off. Bethune-Cookman at FIU. I got FIU winning that one 28-10. Kennesaw State at Wake Forest. We got Wake Forest winning 31-10 as in that one. App State going up against Charlotte. Should be a good game. I got App State winning 31-21. Western Michigan going up against Michigan State. I think that's going to be better than people think. 17-21. Western Illinois at Illinois. 49-10 in the favor of Illinois. Should be an easy one for them. Wagner at Kansas. Kansas, I got them winning 56-3. Kansas also looked really good in week 0, by the way. Georgia Tech at Colorado. This was a tricky one, but I did go Georgia Tech to win 27-24. Then we had UNLV and Sam Houston, 2 teams that played today. UNLV almost lost to Idaho State. Sam Houston stuck in there with Western Kentucky for a little bit. I have this being a close game, 28-24. Then we finish it off with Central Michigan at San Jose State. I got San Jose State winning that one 27-17. So we're going to come back here and go to the game. Well, I guess we're going to start with, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe we'll wait to talk, because we have 2 games on the Sunday slate we're going to talk about. We'll wait. We'll go into the Saturday quick picks, and then we'll return to our 2 games on Saturday. And our Saturday quick picks, we start off with Syracuse and Tennessee. I got Tennessee winning 31-24. Duquesne at Pittsburgh. We are going Pittsburgh 35-7. Northwestern at Tulane. We are taking Tulane 31-17. FAU at Maryland. I'm taking Maryland to win 38-13. They need a big year with Loxley. Merrimack at Kent State. I'm giving Kent State their win early. 21-17 in that one. Mississippi State at Southern Miss. I do like Mississippi State to win 31-14. Ball State at Purdue. I got Purdue winning that one 28-10. Toledo at Kentucky. Upset alert. I got Toledo winning that one 28-24. Fordham at Boston College. I have Boston College winning a tricky scoreline here of 7-34. Robert Morris going up against Western Virginia. I have 10-35 in the favor of West Virginia. Central Connecticut State going up against UConn. UConn wins that one big, 42-3. I was going to say ODU, but yes, Old Dominion going up against Indiana. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than people expect. Indiana 24-10. Eastern Kentucky going up against Louisville. I like Louisville this year. I'm giving them a 38-10 win in their game as well. Holy Cross going up against Northern Illinois. I think Holy Cross is supposed to be one of the better teams at the FCS level this year. I'm going 14-13 in the favor of Northern Illinois. I think there's going to be a couple low scorers, and that's one of them. South Dakota at Iowa State. We were going with Iowa State to win. They won in impressive fashion. A little bit sloppy, but they did get the win. 35-17 over South Dakota. We got Marshall at Georgia. Georgia's going to dominate 49-3. Nevada going up against Penn State. Same thing there. Penn State will dominate 56-7. Bucknell going up against Air Force. I got Air Force winning that one 31-7. Alabama going up against FSU. I was considering make this one of the games of the week, but my score line was kind of disrespectful. I'm going 28-10 in the favor of Alabama. Temple going up against UMass, another slight upset. I'm going UMass 24-21. Then we got Montana State going up against Oregon, one of my games here. As you can see, I'm wearing the Jordan, well, you can't see it. Now you can. I'm wearing the Jordan James jersey. So when we talk about my Oregon, I'm going to lean Oregon to win that one. And I think the score there is going to be 42-17. That's what I have written down. Next, we got Liberty going up against Maine. I got Liberty winning 35-14. Alabama A&M going up against Arkansas. I got Arkansas winning 38-3. Albany against Iowa. I went Iowa 28-3. Weber State going up against JMU. James Madison. We're going 42-10 in the favor of James Madison. Coastal Carolina going up against Virginia. I got Virginia winning that one 31-28. Illinois State going up against Oklahoma. We got Oklahoma 42-7. Morgan State going up against South Alabama. We're going to go South Alabama 24-13. North Alabama going up against Western Kentucky. I like Western Kentucky this year. 49-10 over North Alabama. LIU going up against Florida. We got Florida winning big 49-3. Nicholls State, which they just beat Incarnate Word, by the way, going up against Troy. Low-scoring game, the Incarnate Word game. I got Nicholls State losing, but Troy wins that one 14-10. Charleston Southern going up against Vanderbilt. I have that one at 42-7 in the favor of Vanderbilt. Next, we got UTSA going up against A&M. I got A&M winning 35-17. I think UTSA can keep in it for a while. Southeast Missouri Southeast Missouri State going up against Arkansas State. We got Arkansas State winning that one 35-24. Austin Peay going up against Middle Tennessee. We like Middle Tennessee to win that one 24-6. North Dakota going up against Kansas State. We got Kansas State winning big after what happened today, 42-10. Arkansas Pine Bluff, we have them against Texas Tech. This is the most disrespectful one of the day, 49-0 in the favor of Texas Tech. Southeast Louisiana going up against Louisiana Tech. We got Louisiana Tech winning that one 28-13. UTEP going up to Utah State, and I got UTEP pulling it off there, 42-35 under Malachi Nelson. New Mexico going up against Michigan. We got Michigan winning that one 35-7. We're going to skip the LSU one and come back. Missouri State going up against USC. USC wins big 49-7. Georgia State versus Ole Miss. Same thing there. Big time win for Ole Miss 42-3. Eastern Michigan going up against Texas State. I got Texas State 31-14. Rice at Louisiana. I got Louisiana winning 24-17. Portland State at BYU. Actually, this was the most disrespectful one. 63-0. BYU's going to wipe the floor with Portland State. Tarleton did it today to Portland State. BYU, I think, is a little bit more talented than Tarleton State. East Texas A&M going to SMU. I like SMU. I'm going 42-3. Bryant against New Mexico State. I think it's going to be a weird score. I gave it 28-10 in the favor of New Mexico State, though. Georgia Southern at Fresno State. Fresno State did not look great against Kansas. I'm going with Georgia Southern to pull off a win and keep on having Fresno State lose. 28-24 for Georgia Southern. Northern Arizona against Arizona State. I got a very weird scoreline here for this kind of game. Arizona State at a top 15, top 20 team. 31-14 against Northern Arizona. Not something that you'd be proud of at the end of the day, but something you'd be, hey, at least we won. Idaho at Washington State. We're going Washington State 38-10. I think that's going to be a big game for them. Hawaii, like I said, just got done with a win. Hawaii at Arizona. QB, Alejado, I think that's how they were pronouncing it on the broadcast. He was banged up there towards the end, was limping around, still was able to get the job done for him. If he goes into that game still banged up, Arizona should win that game. And regardless, Arizona, I think, would win this game. You got to think of the travel that's going to be included here. And I also think that Arizona's just a step or two better than Stanford. Stanford almost got the job done. I think there is a little bit of a... I think Arizona might be a little bit better than Stanford is what I'm trying to get at. So 21-28 in the favor of Arizona. California and Oregon State. We're going California to win that one on the road, 21-17. Colorado State going to Washington. I got Washington winning 31-14. And then we got it with Utah and UCLA, where I have UCLA winning the first game of their season with Nico Amaliava, 28-24. Now we get into at least the Saturday games of the week. First, obviously, the big game, the game that is probably going to be Lee Corso's last game, putting on headgear. I assume it's this game, right? Like, this is going to be the headgear game. But Lee Corso, shout out to him. It's his next week will be his last week on College Football Game Day. But yes, this right here is going to be the matchup everybody's going to be looking for. And when you look at it, it's star-studded on both sides, right? Like, you have all the big names at Ohio State. Jeremiah Smith, you have Caleb Downs, obviously. And they're coming off a national championship too, right? And then you got Texas, who in their own right have all the big names. They got Arch Manning. I mean, this is gonna be a really good game. Ryan Wingo's back. I mean, plenty of talent on both sides. But the thing is here, at least when I'm kind of seeing it, and yes, I know Arch Manning's played meaningful snaps in his career so far. He hasn't played Ohio State, though. He hasn't played Ohio State. Ohio State last year, the way they ended the season, I don't think anybody could have beat them. And I'm saying that as an Oregon fan that watched my Oregon team beat them at one point. Yeah, nobody could beat them at the end of the year. That's how well they were playing. And then on the other side, you got Julian Sayin, who is going to be the starting QB. I think he's been listed as QB1 at this point. If not, that's the guy everybody expects. Either way, I think I could go out there and throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith. And that's not to say I'm a good QB. That's just how talented Jeremiah Smith is, right? Like, Jeremiah Smith can make any quarterback look really, really good. I look at this up and down the team, and I think these teams, I don't think much separates them in terms of the talent. I think if you did have kind of a comparison of pure talent, just who on paper would have the edge, I would think maybe Texas gets the slight edge there. But at the end of the day, this is going to be coming down to, because this isn't going to be one of those games where you don't score, right? We always get some games like that where the top teams, and it's kind of underwhelming. It's not going to be that kind of game. It's going to be a game that is going to be up maybe, I don't know if it'll get like into the 30s necessarily, but it's going to be probably 4 or 5 touchdowns each team, 3 or 4 touchdowns each team at least. It's going to be one of those games where at the end, I think the team with the best player is going to win. And when I think of the best player, not only just in this game, but in college football, it's Jeremiah Smith. I do have Ohio State winning this one. I think Jeremiah Smith is somebody that is just, I don't know if there's an answer for Jeremiah Smith defensively. You can throw bodies at him at the DB spot. You could bring safety help. You can do all these fancy schemed up things, right? But at the end of the day, I don't know that it's actually going to affect Jeremiah Smith. Now, I think where Texas might have an advantage here is getting to Julian Sain and making him make poor decisions. But if I'm not an Ohio State fan, but if I'm Ryan Day and if I'm on that staff, right, I'm saying, hey, Sam, yes, they're going to bring the pressure. They're going to try to rattle you. Find 4. Throw it up, and 4 will get it. Julian saying, go throw it to Jeremiah Smith. Throw it to Jeremiah Smith. He will go up and get it. They won't get it from Jeremiah Smith. I guarantee you that, Julian saying. The running back room for them obviously is not going to be as good as it was last year with Judkins and Trevion Henderson, so you might not have a bailout option like that, but you have Max Clare now at the tight end, another guy that could potentially make life a little bit easier for Julian Sain and kind of provide a safety blanket. Just, if I'm Ohio State, I've got to feel real good about my chances in this game. I think my offense, even with a is he a freshman or second year? First time starting QB in Julian Sain. Even with him, I like my chances because I think we have the best offensive player in the country. I think we have one of the top 2, if not 3, tight ends in the country. I think our run game's not going to be bad. We're bringing back Carnell Tate. We're bringing back Brandon Ennis. We have receiver depth. At the end of the day, I think the offensive side favors Ohio State. I think Ohio State's going to have a solid defense. I think that's probably going to be where Texas has an advantage, and Texas might also have the advantage in the trenches against Ohio State. But I'm going to rock with the best player in the country here in Jeremiah Smith. I just got a good feeling about Ohio State. They are favorites 1.5. I am taking them to win by 3. Arch Manning, yes, there's high expectations there. Ohio State's going to have it dialed up, right? They're going to give Arch things Arch hasn't seen. And my question will then become, how does Arch react? They're going to throw stuff Julian Sain's never seen at Julian Sain. That's what makes Texas kind of an interesting pick here as well. But at the end of the day, I got to take the best player on the field, and the guy that I think could go out there and just single-handedly win you a football game, and that's Jeremiah Smith. So that is kind of my reasoning behind that one. And then after that, we are going to go to Clemson and LSU. LSU will be traveling up to Clemson, and this one should be good. This one should be good. You got Nussmeier, you got Cade Klubnik, the 2 big names, potential Heisman guys. This is gonna be. Here's the problem, right? This is like a game day game. This is a game that game day goes out to. There's only one problem. You're playing the same week as Texas and Ohio State. This is probably going to be one of the best games of the year. We're getting it week 1. If you don't got anything going on next Saturday, make sure you carve out some time to watch this game because it's going to be good. LSU, we look at them. Obviously, the quarterback play is kind of what draws you to them. Clemson has a lot of buzz right now in terms of, I mean, Dabo's kind of talked about even going undefeated in the regular season and maybe even doing it in the postseason as well. But you look at these teams, and LSU, I'm looking at them. Nick Anderson, Barry and Brown. They got a ton. Trades Green. They got a ton of guys that could be playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. And then you obviously have Clemson. They have no shortage of it themselves, right? Because you have the QBs, but then you have Jay Haynes, who could be a good player for them. You have TJ Moore. You have I'm going down their roster. Bryant Wesco, Antonio Williams. I mean, they're loaded with talents on both sides of the ball. And both of these teams, I think, could match each other. At the end of the day, I think it's going to come down to who the best quarterback is in this game, though. I think you look at these teams, and it's kind of interesting. Clemson is 4-point favorites in this game. And that is a home game for them, so that means it's just slight favorites, basically. LSU, I am a big Nussmeier fan. I think Nussmeier is great. I think Nussmeier is somebody that could potentially be a number 1 overall pick. That is how much highly I view Nussmeier. Klubnik, I like. I think he could be a first-round pick. I don't think that he's necessarily the level that I believe Nussmeier to be. At the end of the day, I got to, just like the Ohio State game, I got to take who I believe to be the best individual player to win this game. And I believe the better quarterback between the two, in my opinion, is Nussmeier. So that is why I'm rocking with LSU to have our first big upset, 9-4. We have LSU winning 31-28. And then we are going to get, we have one more game left that is going to be featured. But let's just get the quick picks for Sunday and Monday out the way. There's only 2 of them. We got Virginia Tech and South Carolina. I really like South Carolina this year, but I think Virginia Tech is a weirdly tricky team. So I don't love anything there. I do like South Carolina to win 28-21, though. And then Monday, we got TCU going up against UNC. I got Bill Belichick getting his first win at UNC 28-21. So that brings us to the last featured game of the week, and that is going to be Notre Dame going up against Miami. Carson Beck, first look at Miami. Obviously, Jeremiah Love, the household name right now at Notre Dame. But I would also like to point out that C.J. Carr, I believe, is going to be the starting QB. Now, there has been some buzz as well about Kenny Minchey there to potentially be the in that QB race. But I do believe C.J. Carr is going to be that guy. I've heard a lot of good things about C.J. Carr. I look at Anais Williams. He stepped up last year. They got a couple guys here. Jadrian Price. I feel like he also stepped up. Didn't he play? I think he might have played in the playoffs as well. Jadrian Trice. Let me look up his name. Or my bad, Price. I don't know. Let's see if he actually played in the playoffs last year. That name sounds fairly. He's a Campbell Tyler Rose watch list player. Yeah, he played a lot last year. That's why he kind of stuck out as a name I remembered. So they got a lot of running backs there. A lot of good running backs. Obviously, they are going to be. I think they did lose some guys. Obviously, the most notable probably being Riley Leonard. But they still got a lot of talent if you look at it. Will Pauling was a decent receiver. Jaden Greathouse had a big year for him. At least in the playoffs he did. Jordan Faison was somebody that I think had a couple good moments. Notre Dame coming in, number 6. I think about right, to be honest. I think the run game is going to be where Notre Dame really makes their money. I think their defense will be good. I don't necessarily love them against the elite competition, The good news is I don't really buy Miami. I don't really buy Miami. So I'm going to go over, while I'm doing this, I'm going to pull up my updated top 25 after today. But Miami is somebody that has Carson Beck. Now, obviously, Carson Beck is kind of hit or miss. But he was a QB that was solid at times for Georgia. I mean, he played at a very high level of football. Could he be Cam Ward? I don't think so. That's really where I get to with that is I think Cam Ward was the best QB that Miami, in best situation that Miami put themselves in. I don't see their ceiling being much better with Carson Beck than it was Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward was insanely talented. Obviously, he was the number one pick for a reason. I can't lean in the favor of Carson Beck here to win the high-profile games that Cam Ward can't or couldn't. And part of that comes down to kind of just looking at kind of trends. And Mario Cristobal has at times struggled to win big games. And even if he has won big games, he's also found ways to lose other ones. Notre Dame's one of those games, though, I just can't, in good faith, give to him. I got Notre Dame winning this one 24-17. Now, before we leave here, I do want to leave you guys with my updated top 25. Let me pull it right back on up. So I put them in 30, because I put 30 down just to kind of see where people fall in and out. Now, obviously, the big movers, UNLV is completely outside of my even top 30. I completely jumped off the UNLV hype train because they dropped the ball. They can easily get back in it, but I jumped off that train pretty quickly today. Kansas State, they obviously dropped, and they were sitting at 14th in my personal rankings. I did move Iowa State up there to 14. I think it's justified because we haven't seen a lot of the other teams play, but I did move Kansas State down to 24, which is just behind Tennessee and just before Memphis for me. So that is kind of where the teams lie at the moment that played today. So those are that's the week 1 prediction video. Thank you for watching. I will see you all next time. If you want to leave a recommendation or something for what you think one of the games of the week should be for week 2, let me know. But thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.